Good evening, everyone. Welcome along to this edition of SportsView on NeraMedia.tv. Press the red button on the right-hand side as you look at it to subscribe to our channel. Good evening, Joe Waters from Seattle, USA.
Evening, Pat. How are you?
Great to see you, Joe. We're going to start off now with a bit of news. It has nothing to do with the program. I know it has to do with soccer, all right. I was out canvassing over the weekend, even today, and I came across a man, and we were chatting away about this and that, as you would on the door, you know.
Yeah.
His name is Dave Power.
Dave Power from High Rovers.
There you go. He said, "Where's that fecker now?" We're talking about. Well, we showed him the program on their media, you know. He said, "When you mention my name, Joe will know who I am."
Oh yes, indeed. Yeah, their family used to have a pub on the way up towards the Pike. You know where the Black Battery is in Gary? But if you keep going, that used to be, I think Penny's shop used to be there. Was it Penny's? Or was it Nosy Ryan's? I forget which one it was now. But there was a shop there right at the top. And Powers had a pub just a little bit further up the street before they knocked all those houses and built the new ones.
Yes.
So Davy and Pat, brothers, were great. We all played together all the time on the green and what have you. And they actually went over to West Ham on trial. Maurice Irwin went over as well, but unfortunately for them, they didn't get offered a spot over there. So
a big shout out now to Dave Power, because he'll be watching this later on. I'm going to send it to him after the show, you know.
Yeah.
Did they play with Hyde Rovers, no?
Yes, they did. Yeah. Played for the McGuinness brothers.
Yeah, excellent. Anyway, most of the soccer we'll be looking at tonight, most of the issues are done and dusted across channel in the Premiership. And over the weekend we had wins for Arsenal, Newcastle, Forest, Man City. They all won, and obviously the race down in the Premiership is Arsenal are on 83 points. Man City are on 82 with a game less played than Arsenal. Liverpool are on 75. Villa are on 67. Spurs are on 60. Newcastle are on 56. And Man United are on 54. So they're the top seven really in the Premiership. And it is between Arsenal and Man City, because Liverpool can't win it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they can anyway. Say that.
But I don't see. I mean, I could see one of Arsenal or Man City slipping up, but I wouldn't see both of them slipping up.
No.
It'd be too much to ask, I think.
And of course, Real Madrid are champions in Spain again.
Yes.
Barcelona were beaten and Madrid won, and Sporting Lisbon are champions in Portugal. And who else is there? Who else are I don't know. Yeah, Leverkusen, as we know, are champions in Germany, and PSV are champions again in the Netherlands.
Yeah, and
Internazionale
are champions in Italy, right?
Yeah. A lot of the same names are around all the time.
Yes,
it should be either Man City or Arsenal in England. So there you go. The wonderful, ageless, timeless Cesar Luis Menotti. He died at the age of 85. He managed Argentina to win the 1978 World Cup against the Netherlands.
Right.
After extra time.
Right.
Of course, one of the players who I thought myself was overshadowed by, what's his name? What's the Argentinian player?
Maradona.
Maradona was Mario Kempes.
Yes.
Mario Kempes was a sensational player, I thought myself, you know.
Oh, he was a terrific player, yeah. He
He
was.
got they won 3-1. He got 2 goals that won the World Cup for Argentina in 1978.
Yeah.
But Menotti himself, he managed in Barcelona. He managed Italy, Mexico, Uruguay, and then Argentina. And as I said, he managed a wonderful team of 78, and they won it in 86 again with in Mexico, Argentina, as we know, with the wonderful Maradona. But I mean, that was him. He passed away over the weekend at the age of 85. He was a chain smoker. I
Yeah.
remember. I remember that he always had a fag in his mouth. If
Oh
you remember,
yeah.
he always had a fag. I remember that. I remember a bit of it on the sideline.
Yeah.
That was when you could smoke at all these matches and everything. Now it was a different time altogether.
Very different time. I saw a picture of on Facebook the other day of John Osborne, who is the West Bromwich Albion goalkeeper. The time they won the FA Cup in what was it, '68, when they beat was it Everton? They beat in the final, and in the middle of the game, he stopped for a smoke by the goalpost during the middle of a game. It was like,
Oh, go there.
I'm telling you, there was strange, different.
I tell you, it's just like a different planet then.
Oh
But
yeah,
also this week coming up, the European Cup will be decided. In the fact,
right.
we'll
There's
know.
some great games in that last week.
Well, Dortmund are 1-0 up against PSG. They're carrying a 1-0 lead, and the others is all squares between Bayern Munich and Real Madrid.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're 2-2. Yeah, they're 2-2. So, but Real Madrid will be at home. You'd fancy Real Madrid to come through that, I think, Joe, would you?
I think you would. You'd fancy Real to beat anybody at home. I think,
Yeah,
and especially in this competition, they just seem to. Uh,
have that.
yeah, it seems that the sun always seems to shine on them for that competition. So
Yeah,
I would imagine, but Dortmund played, they played a great game. They,
Dortmund looked very good against PSG.
yeah,
PSG, I know looked a bit lackluster. They'll be playing at home,
yeah,
which is worth a goal to them. I think at least one goal to them. You'd have to give them that, but
yeah,
we'll see anyway. Luton Town drew with Everton during the week, and Chelsea beat Spurs 2-0.
yeah,
Pulling up. They've had a good end to the season, but there's a poor season for Chelsea, I think myself. I
yeah.
don't understand
It has, but I mean, like we talked about before, Chelsea have a lot of young players, and
They have a young team.
yeah, and if they don't have any kind of senior leadership, and that's always kind of a worry for you because you need senior leadership on the field and in the dressing room, and they don't seem to have that. They have a lot of talent. I mean, a lot of talent, but
Yeah.
they've lost the most uh, senior pro that they have. He's retiring this year, so
Yeah.
uh, he's taken off. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But they have seemed to come together at the right time. They beat West Ham 5 at the weekend. 5-0.
True, and I have a picture there. Who have I a picture of? I have a picture for just for my friend in Shannon, there's a friend of mine. He's been a long-suffering Ipswich Town fan, long-suffering now, because they came up from the first division to the championship, and now they're in the Premiership. So for you, Mike, when you'll be looking later on, there you go. They're 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 the tractor boys.
There you go.
And we wish them well in the Premiership because they'll need good luck as well as skill on the pitch, as we know.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, it'd be interesting for them if Norwich went up from
well,
the playoffs.
we'll just remind people that Leicester City were champions on 97 points. Ipswich Town got the second automatic place on 96 points. And then the four teams that made it into the playoffs are Leeds with 90 points, Southampton with 87, West Brom with 75, and Norwich pipped Hull City by 73 points to 70. So, if Hull City had won and Norwich had lost, Hull would have gone in. And if Hull would have a better goal difference to them as well. But Norwich did the business. They're the dark horses. And of those four, Joe, between Leeds, Southampton, West Brom, and Norwich, who would you fancy now to go up with the other two?
That's a real good question. Daniel Farke I think he's done this twice now with Norwich. He took him up from the Championship to the Premier League twice, so he's in it again. And then Dave Wagner at Norwich took Ipswich up in to the Premier League. So two guys that have done it before. It's going to be really interesting, but one of them is going to go in the first round because they'll play each other. Because third place, fifth, sixth, right? 3 and 6 and 4 and 5.
Is it Leeds and West Brom and Southampton and Norwich, is it?
Well, it's
it
Leeds are third, right?
Yeah.
So they'll play the lowest of the.
They are playing Norwich, and Southampton are playing West Brom.
Yeah. And so it's going to be really interesting. Southampton seem to have come back a little bit.
Oh, they had a very good finish to the season, Southampton, and they look.
Apart from that bad result against Leicester when they played them, they seem to got back on track. And West Brom, they've got a real good coach there. I mean, he's top class guy. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. It's interesting. Somebody made a comment about it the other day. In the old days, it used to be that 3 would qualify for the playoffs. So third, fourth, and fifth would qualify for the playoffs. And then the third from the bottom in the Premier League would go into that playoff. So the second bottom and the bottom would automatically get relegated. But the third place team would get a second chance
to play the last place qualifier in the championship.
Yeah.
Which would be Luton and Norwich.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, I see that somewhere that Everton, they're talking about Everton might get another points deduction. So I really don't. I don't know what's going to happen there. I see that David Moyes, West Ham is up.
He's gone. Yeah, he's leaving at the end of the season, as his club said on their official website, by mutual agreement.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I've always liked West Ham, but I tell you, for a start, the guy that's coming in, the Spaniard, I mean, has already walked out. He walked out on the Spanish national team at the World Cup to take the Real Madrid job, and then he walked out on the Wolves job because he wasn't getting the money to spend or whatever it was. And now they've gone after him again and given him another job. I think you just better be careful because you might not get what you want with guys like that.
Exactly, and they have a good squad, West Ham. They have some good players in that team.
Yeah, they do.
And I think Moyes is unlucky. I think Moyes did a good job with West Ham.
Oh, I mean, how can you fault the guy that he's kept them in the division for whatever amount of years?
Yeah.
Won a European trophy, which they haven't done since the 60s.
Yes.
And they want more. Well, okay. If you want to play attractive football, then find yourself going to places like Middlesbrough and places like that next year or the year after, because that's if you try that in the Premier League without top class players, you're going to find yourself in serious trouble.
Yeah.
Uh, if that's what they want all show and no substance, then that's entirely up to them.
It'll be an interesting year for West Ham next season. It'll be an
It will
interesting
be.
season.
It will be. Because last time they went down this road, they went with Pellegrini, and that did not work well for him.
And Manuel Pellegrini is managing in Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still doing reasonably well in Spain
Yeah.
as Manuel Pellegrini.
Yeah.
So there you go. Maybe it's the sunshine might suit him better than the weather in England. You don't know, might make him a better concentration. I don't know that, but over the weekend then was it? Oh yeah, and I was just saying there, Man United are playing Crystal Palace tonight as we're on air on Monday the 6th of May. It's the Monday night football match. Crystal Palace are at home. Man United are an enigma, really,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
obviously they're sticking with Ten Hag.
It seems. Yes. Yeah.
It seems to be sticking with the players that they have in the club, and in my opinion, they surely have to show more ambition than that as a club, as a big club.
Well, I think there's a lot of players that are going to be up for sale, and just the market is going to dictate who they sell. Because some of them they're going to have to take heavy losses on if they want them out the door. And
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
all well and good saying that you got to make these big changes, but you have guys that are on terrific contracts,
yeah,
and they
and
they
they're
might
all new players.
yeah
Some of them are on the wrong side of 30. I
yeah
mean,
well
you have Casemiro. Who's
yeah
going to buy Casemiro?
well not for the kind of money that they paid out before, and Rafa Varane as well as looks like he's on the way out.
Yeah.
So
What about Bruno Fernandes?
I think Fernandez is pretty safe. I think the likes of the guys I think that are going to be going are like Casemiro, Varane. Uh, I think Ericsson has to go. They
Anthony
make room. I think he's had his day in this.
and Anthony.
Well, Anthony again, Anthony again is only a young fella, so he has potential, and
He's,
there's nothing worse than getting rid of a guy that you paid a lot of money for, and then him coming good somewhere else.
I know. I know.
And sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and say, well, we can't get rid of everybody. They're talking about maybe Rashford might be up for sale, but
Who's going to buy him?
yeah, who's going? Yeah, dude, you would have takers out there for him because there's. The guy is a good player, and
You have
is
sorry for calling across Joe. You have the teams who are coming up now.
yes,
They'll be looking for established players, who can hit the ground running with the club,
right.
Not-
But
yeah,
the
yeah.
problem there is that the likes of Leicester City and the likes of Ipswich Town would not have the money to be paying for the likes of the Casemiros and the Varanes and guys like that.
Oh,
And
their salaries are just obscene.
yes, they are. And that's that's the other side to it is that how do you move these guys along? And they're not going to be able to do it.
No, no, no.
So it's not. Leicester are not. I don't think anyway are not going to splash the cash because they are going to be facing a big points deduction, and they're going to be behind the eight ball from the start. So they have got to cut their cloth accordingly, I think, and kind of hedge it a little bit, hedge their bets a little bit.
Well, Joe, as I said, the match between Crystal Palace are gone into the lead against United 1-0.
There's a shock.
Yeah, Olisa scored after 18 minutes. So it's 1-0 to Crystal Palace. For all of you who might be waiting with bated breath on that, I don't know. Our own adopted club, which we'll have to do, Bonnie Rig Rose won 4-0. They have won 3 matches since we adopted them. And they should be grateful for that. Now they're not going to get promotion. They're in Division Two in the Scottish league. So anyone who's looking in Bonnie Rig Rose will have to get some of them on here, Joe.
Yeah,
We adopt a quirky club, and if you have any suggestions, let us know. You can email info@learmedia.tv. Press the red button to subscribe to our channel. Very much appreciated. We'll just move away to Rugby Union, the European Cup. Semi-finals were played over the weekend, one in Dublin and one in Toulouse. And Leinster beat Newcastle in a very tight match, 20 points to 17. So they're into the final. Against Toulouse, they beat Harlequins very well. And Toulouse, to me, I think they have to be odds-on favourites to win that. If they play up to form at all, they have a huge, powerful pack. They have Dupont, who's behind the scrum. He's a genius, and Entamac, and Leinster are no mean fan. Leinster are good as well, very good. They have a very good number in number 10 in Gibson Park. I don't rate Burn myself. That's my own opinion. At number nine, yeah, but that's just me. But they have enough about them. The final of the European Cup in rugby is being played in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in England. That's where it's fixed for the Saturday. They had it fixed there for the start of the season anyway. And I think Toulouse and Leinster, I think a lot of there'll be a big Irish supporter because it's only across the sea for the travelling supporters anyway. They played
but,
the semi final, Joe, in Croke Park,
right.
and there was 83,000 at it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
That's
huge
right.
record for a rugby match or a club rugby match.
Yeah.
And it made sense because a lot of people wanted to see the match anyway.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you look at it. Yeah, what France is on the other side of England, so they've got a short hop and a skip to get over, and we're not. We're a short hop
Yeah,
and a skip to get over. So it'll be. I mean, there'll be a huge crowd there for that.
well, there'll be sellouts. There'll be
Yeah.
sellouts.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I have often been critical of Formula One as not being, what's the word I'm looking for, attractive thing to be looking at.
Competitive enough.
But there was a slight change over the weekend in Miami. We will just take the exuberance of the winner for a minute. Lando Norris, the young English driver, he won for McLaren in Miami in Formula One, and he beat Verstappen into second place, and Charles Leclerc of Ferrari third, Perez fourth, and Sainz fifth. It was nice to see, Joe, a different winner.
Yes, it was. Well, and of course, Mr. Trump endorsed him before the race, so that was
Yeah.
the most important thing right there.
Well, I mean, he couldn't lose.
No, he couldn't. Not with that endorsement, a ringing endorsement like
He
that.
couldn't, he couldn't lose. No, absolutely
Yeah.
not. But it was nice to see a different
Yes,
winner.
it was.
Well,
Yes.
that's 6 races now. Red Bull have won four, and Ferrari have won one, and the McLaren has won one. So,
So did Leclerc win one?
huh?
Did Leclerc
Yeah, Ferrari.
for Ferrari?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So that's 6 races gone. It's early. Who knows? Surely a couple of more teams can make progress in the thing because it's still a big spectacle. I know my son and his friends will watch it, but it's still a spectacle, I suppose, in one way. You know, that's the Formula One. As we're on air tonight, the World Snooker Championship is coming to an end with Kyron Wilson uh, in the final against the qualifier. The qualifier, Jack Jones from Wales, and Wilson needs only two more frames to win the championship. He's been around a good bit around snooker, and he reached one final before, where he was beaten by Ronnie O'Sullivan. Of course, Ronnie O'Sullivan was beaten in the quarterfinal, and he didn't play well. I watched that quarterfinal. I thought he had a brilliant chance because Allen, Selby, Robertson, Higgins, um, Ali Carter, they were all beaten, They were all out of his way, I thought he
Yeah.
got it, but Stuart Bingham beat him in the quarterfinals and 13-10. Disappointed, but anyway, just the way you go. That's the snooker going on. €500,000, £500,000 sterling to the winner. So you're set up like winning the lotto. The lotto, Joe, was won here in the Garryowen.
Oh, it was?
In the Garryowen stores, €8.9 million. We're looking around to find out who won it. We didn't hear anything. We're keeping an eye out on people driving around in new cars.
Yeah.
No, I'm only joking. But there's one in Garryowen stores,
Oh, that's great.
There's hundreds of
Now,
rumours.
Garryowen store, is that the one at the top of Garryowen opposite the Markets Field?
Yeah, that's the one in the corner there. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just the shop there. So that's the second time selling a lotto winner.
Really?
Yeah, I think the shop gets 50 grand or something like that.
Yeah.
They wins a prize as well. So happy days for them.
Yes, indeed.
It'll pay a lot of the ESP bills for them.
Yes, it will.
SportsView is a program on NerdMedia.tv with Joe Waters and myself here, as we're here every Monday night. Press the red button to subscribe to our channel, and we very much appreciate it. There was golf over the weekend, there was live golf over the weekend. Bruce Koepka won the live golf minus 15, 66, 64, and 68. The reason I'm highlighting Bruce Koepka, one of the majors is coming up soon, the one he won last year, the PGA, and he's after striking a bit of form. It's coming up next week or the week after the PGA Championship. And Koepka would be one of the favourites to win it. He won it last year, so he's in good form. So if you have your 50p, you might have a flutter on Bruce Koepka. Cameron Smith was runner up there at minus 30, so he's a bit of form. Now, the Byron Nelson Classic was held in over the weekend as well, the PGA Tour. And we had the first time when we were on the PGA Tour from Canada, Taylor Pendrith. Taylor Pendrith is his name. Derwin, our golf expert, is not here, but I'm always astounded, Joe, at the scoring. He won it at minus 23. Minus 23. I know what kind of a golf course was 64, 67, 63, and 67. I mean, that's astonishing score.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You know? That's nearly 600. That's nearly an average of 604 rounds every round.
Yeah.
That's just. I don't know. It's probably down to. I know. Did you hear of that chap that died over the weekend, Peter Oosterhuis?
Oh, yeah.
He was a golfer in the 70s. So Peter Oosterhuis is a very, very articulate man as well. He became a commentator as well. There's Peter Oosterhuis, so people who mightn't remember him. But of course, he was playing. He was at the height of his powers when the likes of Jack Nicklaus was playing in his pomp, and Arnold Palmer and Tom Watson. So he did well. He was runner-up twice in the British Open, and he topped the order of merit here in Europe for 1971 to 1974. Yeah, just that's Peter Oosterhuis, and Derwin probably will have a story or two about him because I think he knew him anyway. So
Yeah. No,
you
golfer in England.
Yeah, and he played in loads of Ryder Cups as well. That's Peter Oosterhuis. That's at the time when Britain and Ireland used to be getting walloped every time in the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
Just like the story.
Yeah.
Tell us the fellow when hunting instead of playing the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
Even though shooting, whoever it was,
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that was very funny.
Tom Weisskopf.
Yeah, it was Weisskopf. Well, I liked Weisskopf. He was a character.
Yes, he was.
An absolute character, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a funny story when you consider the importance of it now, and
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
the money that's gone into it. It's
Yeah.
astonishing.
I don't know if I told you the one, but there was a tournament on down in Ballybunion, or before the British Open, or the I think it was before the British Open.
Yeah, they used to have it. Yeah.
Yeah, and my brother my brother and his son went down to walk the course and see. There was a lot of the top guys playing in it. They wanted to play it on a links course
Yeah,
before they
Ballybean.
they played. They went over to the British Open for it. And my brother was going back to the car park to his car. He gets back, the car parked next to him, and there's a fella sitting on the edge of the boot, the car, and he's changing his shoes. Payne Stewart.
Go away.
Yeah. That's what it was like back then, guys driving down themselves and, parking in the parking lot.
Jeez.
Yeah, back in the car. It
And
was
for yes, and
yeah.
that was an awful tragedy that time with the plane,
Oh, that was horrible.
Horrible. And they're tracking it under the crash,
No, yeah,
There's
that was just
nobody else. They were all dead inside the plane anyway,
yeah. That was just so sad.
It was, yeah, it was. It's
Yeah.
sad. He was another character, Payne Stewart.
Yes, he was.
On
Yes,
the
he was, and he was an easy guy to dislike because he was so competitive, especially in the Ryder Cup. And he'd try and wind up the British and the Irish and what have you, and it was like. But apparently, he was one of the nicest guys you could meet.
Yeah,
He was a good guy, and but so tragic for that to happen.
I mean, I don't know what happened. Was it the air conditioning failed and
Yeah,
was it
I think the oxygen center on the plane just
gave up? There was no air, no air, and of course, then you'd lapse into a coma, and pass away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you remember? Wasn't there fighter jets sent up? There was a fighter jet sent up to have a look to see could they see in the windows of the plane, and then they reported back that it looks like everybody was gone inside it,
Yeah.
It's so sad in a way, really.
Yes, it really is.
Believe it. Now, we have tonight also we have full League of Ireland fixtures tonight. Damien Duff's team are going up to Derry City. They're top of the league. Damien Duff's team. They're playing Derry City tonight in the Electricity League. So we look at that somewhere. Is the soccer season just started or into 5 or 6 matches in England, Joe? I mean, in America, I meant to ask you.
It's probably about, I'd say it's nearly
halfway through.
Not quite halfway, but it's there are a good few games into it right now. So
I know Seattle Sounders were playing Galaxy. Were they Galaxy over the weekend? Seattle Sounders, or is it tonight? I forget.
It might be tonight. I think that they played it in, was it Philadelphia last week?
Yeah.
And I think they were 3-0 up, and I'm not sure what happened, but I just read a lot that just back talk kind of thing, and I didn't find out what happened, so I don't know if they threw away the 3-0 lead and they got beat or drew or what happened. But there's a little bit of unrest amongst the supporters with the style of play and the lack of goal scoring, and it really is, I think, about time for the Sounders to have an injection of new blood. They've had guys that have been around for a while.
Yeah.
They have guys that.
And is the club well supported?
Oh, the club is well supported. Yeah, they will open up the whole stadium and they'll have 72,000 people on the big games when they open the whole stadium.
And Joe, there seems to be a lot of traveling. I mean, you said they were they have to go from Seattle to Los Angeles to play a game.
Oh yeah. Well, we did it. We played a match one night in. We played in San Diego, and then we had to fly from San Diego to Kansas City to play a game the next night, And then we had to fly from Kansas City to Chicago to play the next lunchtime. So we played back. Uh, we played a night game, traveled, played a night game, then had to get up next morning, travel, and play a game at lunchtime. And the amount of travel was the equal of flying from London to Moscow to play a game the same day, and that was nothing unusual for us. We would go back east. We'd fly to Baltimore, and then we'd fly from Baltimore to Cleveland to play a game the next night.
So they'd have to have a decent budget to run a club.
Oh yeah, yeah, you
And
did.
what kind of support is there from the people who are in charge of soccer in America?
Um, well, I mean, nowadays it's always been a franchise that's owned by the owners, and the owners, finance it.
So
Um,
the ownership of the soccer clubs will be much the same structure as the baseball team or the
yes,
football team. The
yes,
American, all
yeah,
right, and
yeah,
they finance it through commercial deals and all of that.
yeah. And
All right.
then the stadium they play in is owned by the city. It's not like in England that it's owned by the club. The city builds all these
So
stadiums.
Seattle Sounders are playing in a federal building, a federal owned building,
It's
or a local
the owned
authority.
city of Seattle, and then right next to it uh, is the baseball stadium that is the same size, and the Seattle Mariners play in that. So,
And would they ever have a clash of fixtures?
they, well, they work it out beforehand
Yeah,
because of the policing issues and what have you.
yeah,
So
sure. Yeah.
so football and baseball don't really.
You'd have a different demographic, different supporters, would you?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but you'd have a lot of crossovers as well,
Yeah,
So, um, so for you know, uh, but baseball, can be an evening game, and soccer could be played in the afternoon, or the other way around, kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, but yeah, they try to avoid conflicts with them as much as possible, and do that. But
You see,
yeah, no, Seattle is kind of a little bit different because a lot of the stadiums uh, are specifically built for soccer, and they hold probably about 30,000 people.
yeah,
So that's the average home
yeah,
game.
yeah,
Um, for the Sounders, they don't open up the stadium, all of the stadium for every game. But like for a big game, like when LA comes to town
yeah,
or Miami comes to town with
yeah.
Messi, the whole thing will be opened up and there'll
To
be
be full, to be
wrapped out.
full, to be very full. Then the thing my bugbear with soccer in general, with commercial soccer as I call it, say with the Premiership is, say a team like Liverpool. There's no Liverpool players on the team.
Right. Well, there are, well, Trent Alexander-Arnold
Yeah,
is,
generally speaking,
yeah. So
like
it is like that, but it's an interesting statistic, or it's an interesting story. You know that Anfield was Everton's home ground to start off with. And then Everton, whatever happened, whether the guy was charging rent too much, what have you, they went over across Stanley Park and they built their own stadium. And then now the guy that owned Liverpool was left with an empty stadium. So he formed Liverpool Football Club. So he'd have somebody to play in it.
yeah.
That's how that came about.
So
Uh, yeah,
Goodison Park is the Everton one.
they became that, but they first played at Anfield.
Yeah, Anfield. Oh my God, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah.
A bit of history tonight, lads. So
But we did talk about that, and you were talking about commercial stuff and what have you.
yes, yeah,
You know that they're now in the middle of renegotiating and negotiating the TV rights.
yes.
And the sticker on this is that is I think it's NBC is or whoever it is negotiating the rights want 2 live games in the US to be played. And we talked about this last week or the
We
week
did.
before.
We actually played in the US
Be played in the States
as part of the deal.
as part of the deal. So that's the beginning of it now. Once you get 2 games over there, then now they're going to want to play other games over there. And that's going to become a part of the whole deal.
Of course, we all due respect to the club, I suppose. You won't get Luton Town and Brentford playing over there anyway.
Maybe not, but
So they'll lose out. They'll lose out again.
yeah,
You
yeah,
only get the top 3 or 4 like the Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. You know,
yeah.
Spurs.
I mean, if they bring in this salary cap thing, then it might even the playing field a little bit more.
Well, there isn't any discussion around salary caps, but there'd be lip service, but the percentage paid out on wages now, I know that Man City were fined over, that were pulled up over, that seems to have died away.
Yeah, yeah,
That seems to have died away. Except except Everton, I think, are going to court over it anyway. They're
yeah,
going to full court about it. That will take its own time to play out anyway. There's
yeah.
no, there's
Well,
no about
like
that.
I just remembered what the issue with Everton is. Everton, it looks like the 777 group that's trying to buy them and has been financing them until the Premier League approves it. Didn't pay them what they've been normally paying them, apparently, according to the paper. And so Everton are in a solvency position where they could become insolvent. If that happens, they'll get docked points. So that would change things in the relegation
Well,
scene.
the one positive thing about Everton is that for the time being, I think they're safe in the Premiership.
Yeah, yeah,
And if it's not resolved soon, so they'll be making up fixtures for next year, so they'll have to resolve it soon.
well, it's going to have to be. I mean, because they're
Oh, sorry,
still
Craig. It's
over.
it's 2-0 now to Crystal Palace against Man United.
Yeah, they'll be out in force again tomorrow. Ten Hag out.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what they're going to say. What are they going to say? I mean, I don't know. It's just bring back David Moyes. All is forgiven.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, if they have the same players, so what are people expecting? I mean, they're even talking about Mourinho was in the paper the other day, stirring it and talking. Well, there's still 2 players there that I wanted to get rid of. So that tells you how long ago that has been.
In Man United?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well,
he knew what it was a few years ago that these guys needed to be out, and they're not. They're still there. So you know, it's easy to kind of talk a good game about getting rid of people and doing this, that, and the other, but somebody's got to want them, and the players nowadays have all they they have all the power.
they have contracts, Joe,
Yes, they have.
and they can sit back and say, Joe, if you want to get rid of me, write out a check for 100 million, and I'll go, or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
So it is a commercial decision. It's not a human decision on a player or anything anymore. It's all about money, all about the
yeah.
money.
It
And
is.
there is still a huge interest in the Premiership from America. I mean, there's 3 or 4 networks now in America that carry Premiership games because I get them on the stick here. ESPN carry them, NBC carry them, and BBC America carries them as well.
Yeah,
Peacock, I get them on Peacock.
yeah.
I,
Peacock carries 2 or 3 games on Saturday, Sunday.
yeah,
ESPN has all the European games,
yeah,
all the championship games.
yeah.
There, Paramount Plus has all the European Championship games, the
Europa League.
Europa League, Champions League. So yeah, so there. I mean, it's big doings here. I mean, it really is. It's become it it's people watching it as it's like gone through the roof. It's probably. I mean, I don't know where it in terms of support it fits in amongst because you have baseball is a unique sport in that
Well,
it's
baseball is America.
yeah, but if you go to a baseball game, sometimes there's hardly anybody in the stadium. If you go midweek to a lunchtime game, there probably won't be anybody more than a few thousand people there. So all their money is made through TV.
Yes.
Because I mean, it takes what 4 or 5 hours to play a game.
I know, yeah.
So I mean, that's a game made for TV right there.
You want a plenty aluminium foil and sandwiches going on.
There you go. I mean, so it just nighttime games and weekend games are very well supported.
Yes.
But midweek games are tough.
Of course, there's another thing that people aren't. I mean, the cost of living is very challenging for many people.
Yes, it is. But people still manage to. I mean, every Seahawks game is sold out up in Seattle, and the waiting list for season tickets is probably as long as from here going around the block 5 or 6 times.
And what is it? Is it $100 a game?
Yeah, I mean it can be. Yeah, I mean you have different. Probably the same as soccer stuff in England.
Yeah. No.
You have different levels of it. Some of it you're in. You're like the Crow's Nest is for the real hardy people. They're the nosebleed seats. They're the cheap ones, and you're out all the elements when you go up there and watch them. But and then you get the covered seats, and then some of the seats are not covered, so you're sitting in the rain and whatever is going on. But yeah, I mean, it's $50-$60. I mean, for a game in those kinds of seats, and again, thinking about getting a family to it, you're dropping $300 right there, and that's before you pay for parking.
Yeah.
And before you even buy a pop or
a gallon of Coke and a pound of burger.
Yeah, and which costs an arm and a leg in itself. So I mean it's expensive everywhere to watch.
Yes, I mean we have 2 main events in Ireland in the GA. We have the 2 All Ireland finals, and really they're the 2 biggest sporting occasions in Gaelic football and hurling in Ireland. So the price, it's not that I don't mind the price or I can well afford it. It's just that I understand the price because there's only 2 of them in the whole year.
Yes.
And the most that can go to them is 83,500 because that's the size of the stadium. But I mean, I think it's 70 or 80 euro, I think, to go to the Ireland final, which is an incredible spectacle, incredible occasion because, and Limerick are playing next Sunday, Joe. They're playing next Saturday night at 7 p.m. Irish time. They're playing Cork down in Cork next Saturday night at 7 o'clock. So I hope to get a ticket for that to see.
That'd be a nice one. And I
Yeah,
see Tipperary bounced back yesterday
they
against.
did. They got a very good draw against a very good Waterford team who have been underestimated, in
Yeah,
my opinion. They could have won it, but they have 3 points, and it looks like right at the moment that Limerick, Clare, and Waterford will qualify out of Munster. Now that's my reading of it because I can't see Cork beating Limerick, even the most optimistic of Corkmen can't see. I can't see it. Um,
have
and
Limerick, have Limerick played Waterford yet?
no.
No, so that's going to be the last game.
Limerick played
Clare.
Clare Tipperary, and they're playing Cork next, and then they're playing Waterford the last match. It may not matter to either of them because they both could be qualified before that last match, so they wouldn't be the same. They wouldn't be the same bite in it.
Yeah, yeah,
And the most points I can give Cork in the round robin is 2 points. I'm giving them the win against Tipperary, but I can't see them beating Limerick, except Limerick have an off day, or you know.
yeah,
They're only human beings at the end of the
yeah.
day. But I just simply can't see it happening, Joe. So now we have the European Cup during the week being wrapped up. We'll assume Real Madrid will be playing. I slightly fancy PSG to come out of the other side of that
I I think so.
because
I
simply because they're home. So we just
PSG wasted a lot of chances
oh
at
oh,
Dortmund.
it was infuriating to be
Yeah,
the manager there. You'll be biting your nails, but we'll assume to be real. Is it 16 times Real Madrid have won the European Cup or something like that?
is it? I'm not sure if it's 14 or 16.
Yeah,
It's
it's
definitely something around those numbers.
it's astonishing record altogether.
Yeah,
Astonishing record.
yes, it is. And it'd be interesting if PSG and Real meet in the final because it'd be Mbappe playing his last game for PSG against his future team.
Yeah, and the manager of PSG, of course, is steeped in his own history.
Right, Luis Enrique, yeah.
Yeah, he has. I mean, it is all. I mean, I think in my lifetime, in my time following soccer, I think that Real Madrid, as well as being blessed with very good players, they always seem to have a very good manager as well.
Yes,
Which is half the battle, in my opinion. A manager who can manage players properly. You know,
yes, yeah,
and I think by the interaction on the sideline between Ancelotti and his players. That there's a mutual respect there. By them. There's
yeah,
no there's no throwing stuff down in the ground or anything when they're being substituted or anything. There's none of that carry on.
right.
There's no kicking water bottles or anything like that.
Uh,
They're just coming off, and that's the end of it. And I think I have a soft spot for Real Madrid. I think they're. I don't know. I just love watching them. You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
play a fantastic brand of soccer.
yeah.
You know, they're a joy to watch.
Oh, they are, yeah, and they always have been. It's
They have.
yeah, and they,
So
they
so
always look magical in their white uniforms.
so Dave, Derwin, we look forward to have you on board next Monday, Derwin, and we'll accept no excuses for next week, Derwin. I'm afraid they'll have to
No
be.
more mulligans.
Yeah, no. And Crystal Palace are still just half time, and Crystal Palace are 2-0 up on Man United in Crystal Palace. So there you go. Well, we wish them all luck, Joe. We wish Grimsby Town luck. They stayed up, and
Yes,
they stayed up well in the end. And
yeah,
because it's a terribly tough division, as they all are in Britain, and it is very competitive. Not because we're talking about Grimsby, but Wrexham. Wrexham are the story from Division 2. They're up to Division 1. Can you imagine the excitement?
oh yeah. But
If
they just released 8 players this week.
yeah,
Wrexham. Yeah, yeah.
oh,
Their team captain has been released as well. So they're rebuilding the squad for next year.
yeah, Division 1 is tough. Sunderland it's finding it hard to get out of it.
Yeah,
You
Yeah.
know? And is it Portsmouth or the other team that I like? Are they in Division
Yeah.
1 as well? Portsmouth.
Portsmouth just got promoted, didn't they? Didn't they get promoted?
They're up to the championship, are they
Yeah,
again?
the league, I think. They won it.
I like them. I like Portsmouth. They're
Yeah.
another team, you know.
Yeah.
But Dave Power, this has been dedicated to Dave Power and all at Hyde Rangers, Dave, and and he'll be watching this later on. And we'll send it to him. And from Joe Waters and myself, till we meet again, Joe, next Monday night with the help of God, Lekun of Day. Slán that, Togo Buggy.
Take care, Pat. Great seeing you.
Bye bye.
Bye.